Okay, so today we're going to go over our initial buyer meeting and what that looks like. And what I've realized in studying this is that what we had uh, was actually really, really good. And we've kept most of it. However, after studying the 10-point buyer process and the progression that Ninja uses in their presentation with buyers, knowing what they do and how they do it and why they do it, to not do it is a disservice to them, to the buyer, and to you. This is such a powerful progression, and the things added to it are so important. I can't believe I had left them out before, and I'm glad that we're there now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're going to look at two things kind of at the same time. So we have our 10-step buyer process pulled up. And the first thing on this process is to let your receptionist know that someone is coming. That sounds so elementary, but guys, if it doesn't happen, it's not elementary. If it's not something that's being done, then it's not elementary at all. Admins, when your agents let you know that someone is coming, make sure you write their name down. Even better than that, it would be great if the agent were to write it down and say, hey, Tom and June Jones are coming in. Here's their names. I'll be in my office when they get here. Let me know. Of course, then the admin is going to say, hey, you must be Tom and June Jones. Great to have you. You must be here to meet with Abby Driver. And they'll be all excited and know that we're talking about them. And that's just common courtesy and good stuff. So we want to do that. Also, if this is for admin as well, if you're sitting down, please stand up to greet them and walk towards them. Don't make them come all the way to you. So we have a stranger come into the office, but you have been made aware that so-and-so is coming. Stand up, walk towards them, greet them. If you're at a coffee shop or a restaurant and they come in and you know that they're your clients coming to meet with you, stand up and walk towards them. Don't make them come all the way to the table to be greeted and then walk back. That's just really good courtesy, really good manners. How are you? Having a good day? Build some rapport, ask a forward question. And then you want to move them. Moving people transitions them into, okay, now it's time to get busy. So you greet them, how you doing? Let's go back to the table. Let's go back to the conference room. That lets them know that things are about to happen. This is starting. This 10-step buyer process, this greeting, number one, I mean, that's all in the greeting right there. That 10-step buyer process, number one is to greet them correctly. When you go to a different location for some fresh energy, they've put it in there. Offer them a gift, a drink, a pen, something. Can I get you a coffee or a water? Admin will do the same. And then you start your buyer interview. Now, this sheet, this 10-step buyer process, as of this morning, the Google Drive looks very different in the buyer meeting file. The 10-step buyer process is right there. I'll move this here. The 10-step buyer process for you to understand how to do this is right here. The buyer process itself, which is your initial meeting to closing, is right here. And for those of you that had issue with it before, because some of the links weren't correct, the links have actually been taken out, because you can just go to the Google Drive and type in what you're looking for. So don't worry about that anymore. But this just tells you what to do from start to finish, and is a great form. I gave it to Richie just the other day. I hope it helped you. It's in perfect English, I think. If not, please let me know, and I'd like to make it better. Then we've got a buyer packet, and you want to bring a buyer packet to this meeting. Everything in the buyer packet here is something useful. These forms from Form Simplicity didn't load correctly. I'll fix that. That's not a big deal, but you can see what that is. In our buyer packet here, we have a buyer packet list. Number one, to be ready, bring a pad of paper, not a piece of paper, because you're going to be sharing paper with them. Bring a buyer interview sheet. It shows that you have a process. Bring a copy of For Your Protection, Get a Home Inspection. Bring a copy of Arkansas Agency, General Buyer's Disclaimer, Buyer Info Sheet, Exclusive Buyer Rep. I'm going to actually edit this because it needs a copy of the contract as well. Bring your favorite lender's business card. Bring a magic wand offer form, the blank magic wand offer. Bring your favorite inspector's business card, a buyer checklist, and anything else you'd like. I don't know how many times I've been asked, what should I include in the buyer packet? What should I include in a pre-list packet? Stuff. Stuff. Just give them some stuff. Give them a copy of the contracts, give them a copy of the process, but stuff. And who wants stuff? Not me. I don't want stuff. Rebecca does, though, and she's a buyer too. She is just fine with taking all of that and laboring over it in the middle of the night, when my thinking is, well, heck, we've got Richie as our agent. I don't want to do all that. I don't care what it says. He's going to take care of me. He better. That's what my mind does. So just because you aren't that way doesn't mean they aren't. And you need to line up with them. What's the platinum rule? What's the golden rule? Treat people how you want to be treated. Platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated. So we've got some great stuff here that we can hand to them, and they can feel and touch and think that it's real, and good stuff. So that buyer packet is now in and ready for you, other than the forms that are missing due to technical error. So let's go back into our 10-point process. Meet in the different location, and then we begin the buyer interview. Have a file made up with their name on it. That says, I'm expecting you and I'm ready. It's just a good thing. I'd like to ask you a few questions that'll help me help you find the right home. Is it okay with you? Is it okay if I take some notes? Of course, absolutely. Follow the proper question sequence. Rapport building. So in rapport building, when you first sit down with people, I mean, we're in the South. What do? Tell me about yourself. You have a family? What do you do for a living? I'll tell you something that I found out. It totally freaks Northerners out when you say, where do you go to church?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Just,
That's Southern there.
yeah, same. So some Southerners, it freaks out too. So just know that may not be the question anymore. Yeah. But do that foundational learning of them first. Then we get to our buyer interview. Now, our buyer interview has not been edited. It's good. Use it. It's a great buyer interview. After the buyer interview, I prepared a packet of information for you that has everything you need to buy real estate in Northwest Arkansas. Here it is. Here are all the forms, all the documents. Here's a checklist of how it's going to go down. And here's a 1, 2, 3 list of what it's going to be like. It's all there. So let's start with what you have so far. Do you have a list of homes for me? What a great question. What a great question. Review them. Have you gone inside of any of these homes? There is a chance right now that they have been to an open house, loved the house, but were told that you're the right person for them to get through the process with. Not the touring of homes, not the picking out a home, but the process. There's a big chance of that. It's happened to multiple agents in this office. After that, is it all right with, if it's all right with you, let's start putting these homes in what we call the funnel, and you draw the funnel. Is this starting to feel like a lot to remember? Maybe. Okay. So you draw the funnel, you tell them what's going to go in the funnel. You're going to put in the funnel homes that they've already considered. You're going to put in the funnel homes on Zillow, on Trulia, on the MLS. You're going to do bank-owned properties. You're going to do FSBOs. You're going to do new construction. And then you're going to set up a search that lets them be notified when anything new comes on the market, because new properties come on the market all the time. There's no crystal ball when, but pop, there they are all of a sudden. So that happens. Is remembering those options to put in the funnel, is that hard? Maybe. That's few options. Who thinks they have them all right now? You got them in your mind? Bill's got them. Anybody else? Maybe. We got a maybe. Erica said that's not hard, and now she's not raising her hand. So what I want to propose is that our initial buyer meeting presentation is as much for you to stay on track as it is for the buyers to get an understanding. Does that make sense? You guys like that? So I'll show you momentarily after we get done with the buyer process. I'll show you what I mean by that, and I hope that it helps you. So once we have everything in the funnel, this is helping you learn your verbiage. Once we have anything in the funnel, we'll start a simple process of elimination to remove those properties that don't work for you. So what are we, there's a science here. There's a science. Who wants to live in scarcity? Okay, nobody raised their hand. Who wants to live in abundance? Who would rather be in a process of elimination than searching? Good science, right? We want to work in a process of elimination. Okay? We will go from thousands of properties in the funnel to hundreds and then to dozens as we begin to eliminate those that don't work. Who doesn't want options to go to the prom? Right? Some we will look at online, some will drive by, and some will decide to make an appointment and go in. You'll be in control of the decisions. As we go through the process, our goal will be to find the top 3 favorites that work for you. And this can be a rolling top 3. What's a rolling top 3? Hi, guys. Hi. I'm Jason.
I have it delivered for you.
You do?
Yeah.
From who?
We'll
We'll eat breakfast tacos.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Lindsay, is that you? It's so good to see you. How are you?
Should have gone to Fayetteville today.
Yes, that's fine.
Who's given us this kindness?
Tuesday.
Oh, we
Yeah,
love
copy of breakfast
Doomsday.
samples, guys,
Yeah.
from a friend of yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Enjoy their creamer cups, breakfast, apple salsas, all the. She's
That's
telling me
awesome.
what she
They're
wants.
amazing. That's what I order when I go.
I love it. How exciting.
And tell her that thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, we'll be down in a minute.
yeah,
20
come on.
minutes.
This is from my Ninja accountability partner in North Carolina.
Oh, that's so
Judd.
sweet.
Yeah,
Living in
So,
abundance.
living in abundance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good time.
So as we go through the process, our goal will be to find your top three. And that could be a rolling top three. In some cases, it's a rolling top three because we went inside one and it's nothing like what it was online. In some cases, it's a rolling top three because it sold before we could get to it. If you have a client who has a house for sale, they should probably keep a rolling top three before they try to go under contract for something else. Does that make sense? And then you go. Once you have identified your favorites, I'll do a simple market analysis showing you sold properties to help you get a feel for value. Our goal is to make sure you don't pay too much. What are the fears of a buyer? We went over it yesterday with Terry. Anybody?
Missing out on properties.
Missing out,
Overpaying.
overpaying. There were 4. Were you even there? Those were the top 2. Because I can't remember the other 2. So buyer's remorse. Yep. Yeah. Buyer's remorse was the third. We talked about the dude shooting somebody over it.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the most recent realtor murder is buyer's remorse.
Oh.
I don't remember the 4th. So fear of missing out, paying too much, remorse, those are biggies. Does this look like a process that work for you? Get their approval. That's a great question. Yeah, that looks really good. That looks really good to me. So the funnel process is the process of elimination versus the process of selection. Make sure you don't miss out on anything. Some will look at online. These are the key phrases that you need to make sure you know. On a scale of 1 to 10, just for fun, to give me an idea of where you're at in the process. This is step 6. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being you're just getting started and 10, you'd like to find the house that you want to buy today. Where are you at? Where would you rate yourself? Is that a great question?
Yeah, I should really have asked that question last time. We walked in a house, she was ready to make an offer. It was our first house.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then you were calling Jason after broker hours. Yeah, yeah. Drill them down on each item. What would have to happen to make you a 10? Well, first this. What specifically about that? Tell me more about that. Why is that important? Take notes. Listen to them. Pay attention. Be their advocate. Then we're going to do a piece of paper exercise. If it's all right with you, I'd like each of you to make a list of what you want in a home. And after you've made your list, I want you to put a star next to your top 3. That's fun. Who doesn't want to do that? Oh, I want this, I want that, I want this. Guess what? If it's a couple, they won't have the same thing starred. And more often than not, they won't know, they wouldn't have known that their spouse wants something else. They'll be surprised. I didn't know you liked that. And that gets them on the same page. Then you talk about an 85% home, the 85% perfect home. Okay. It's going to be awfully hard to find that. And if you built it, you would find something wrong with that. So we're going to go for a good solid B on that. And now we know that these are the items that you really, really want. And these others below it, Those might be what make up the B instead of an A plus. Make sense? And they'll say, yeah, that makes. Are you going to pay in cash? Are you going to get a loan? Do you have a home to sell? While I'm doing the computer work for your MLS search right now, would you like to meet my preferred lender for a second opinion? You already have a lender. A second opinion could really save you a lot of money and also help you stay on track. My preferred lender, I know how they work. I'm not saying that your lender does bad. I just don't know them. Well, Jason does this all the time. I'd probably want a second opinion. Did I insult their lender? You need to be very careful of that. It could be their brother, right? You need to be very careful of that. Well, Wells Fargo sucks. Well, that's who my brother works for, so that's who we're using. Oh, didn't know it was your brother. Sorry. Don't do that.
Opportunity to educate them about buyers and how hard it is for those lenders applying appraisers.
Say that louder, Bill.
Maybe an opportunity to educate them about out of area buyers.
Lenders.
And how hard it is for them to find appraisers right now.
Out of area lenders have a difficult time for appraisers, which slows down closing. And not closing on time can cost people thousands. While you're doing the MLS search, you can leave the room while they talk to their lender because finances are personal. So in this case, you said, would you like to talk to my preferred lender? Yes, I would. Well, here's their card. I'm going to step out for a minute and do the MLS search. And while you talk to that lender and get a second opinion, I'll be getting some stuff done and then I'll be right back. What have we done there? Proactive. Now, what if the lender isn't available to visit right there? Well, they should be because you called them before the meeting to say, I'm having a buyer meeting and I may need you. Will you be available from 3 to 4 today for me as I try to send you clients? Yes. Yes, I will. Make sense? Be proactive, set stuff up. Talk to them about the 1% equals 10% rule. Where do you think rates are going to go next?
Oh,
Why?
they can't go down.
They can't go down anymore. They're going to go up. When? I don't know. I don't know. But if you're getting a $500,000 house, you will now be getting a $450,000 house if we go from 3% to 4%. That's simple. That's simple. So just for your knowledge, that's important to know. We provide that information to a buyer. They feel value, right? This guy knows what he's talking about. He's helping me. So then we review the MLS results, give them matches for currents, under contract and available. So under contract, why do we want to show them homes that are under contract? We're educating them on the market right now. We're not selling them. We're educating them and we're being a consultant. We're providing value. Discuss the MLS search. View online, drive by and show. Refine the MLS search and discuss. Print show properties, actives, solds. It gives them a green light of okay, now we understand. Now we understand where we're at. Let's go. Let's go. Here's a great question then. If we find that house, your cream puff home, what will you do? I'll tell you what would happen in my house. Rebecca said, we'd buy it. Jason said, we'll sleep on it. Yep. And he will use the saying he has for years. Not every bad decision I've made was a fast one. No, not every fast decision I've made was a bad one, but almost every bad decision I made was a fast one. And I'm going to sleep on it, even if I'm excited and super stoked. Not going to do it. Just the way I am. Yep. What do you know now? We're going to wait a day. We're going to wait a day. They find it, we're going to wait a day. Will we lose the property? Maybe. Maybe. Will Rebecca really upset? Yep. Will Jason? No, because I know another thing comes along. Always. Something comes along. We'll be fine. That's the way I work. So then we tell them the rules of thumb for showing properties. Common traps are listed here again. Guys, these are fantastic. Most common trap, realtors skip foundational questions. They can't wait to get to how many bedrooms and bathrooms do you need, instead of tell me about your family. What brought you guys to Northwest Arkansas? How long have you been in Northwest Arkansas? What do you do here? Those are very important questions to get a feel for these people and who they are and what works for them. Prepare the buyer packet. It shows you're a pro. Most common trap. Most realtors don't use a buyer packet at all. They don't bring anything. The funnel process shows you have a process and are a pro versus just a cab driver. It handles their fear of missing something or paying too much. It gets them committed to a process. Ever had somebody that's just all over the place? Get them to commit to a process and get everyone on the same page. Gives them the green light to move forward when they see something they like. The most common trap is that we don't use it. Guilty. Scale of 1 to 10. Helps you find out where they're at in the process. Most common trap, you don't ask it. And guys, if it's more than one person, if it's a couple or even more, they may be surprised at where the other person is at in this. I'm ready. I'm not. I'm terrified. Really gets clarity.
We assume when they come to us, they're on the same page,
Yeah,
but often they're not.
we assume they're on the same page.
They don't necessarily know it.
Yeah. 2 pieces of paper. Critical when you have 2 buyers. You get input from both. Having them mark their 3 have to have helps them prioritize. It's a great exercise for them. And I have used this, and many times they'll hand me back a sheet with all stars. And it lets me know what kind of person they are. I'm not going to do it without this. This is why I'm doing it. Okay. Got it. Got it. What's and whys? People buy their whys, not their whats. We have to have a jetted tub. Tell me more about that. I have back problems and I really need a place to relax. I really need that massage that it gives me. And I really need that. That's a why.
We normally deal only with what's.
We want a huge kitchen. Tell me more about that. We love having big parties and get-togethers. Oh, so a big open kitchen, maybe big open to the living room? Absolutely. Is the kitchen really big now? Or that space together big? Right? Talk about their why. Tell me more about that. Most common trap, realtor either MLS search based on what? They can't wait to ask about beds and baths and show property based on what's, not whys. During this step, have the conversation about the 85% home, cash, loan, house to sell. Have them checked out by a lender you trust. Second opinion for them. Would you like a second opinion? That's a great way to say, please use my lender. If there is a mismatch between what they want and what they want to spend, decide on how this will be brought up. There are multiple ways this will happen. You can tell them, the lender can tell them, or your MLS search can tell them. We are looking between 300 and 350. We want a 4-bedroom, 2,800 minimum square feet, 3-car garage. Is that 3 to 350 right now? Oh, on an acre, not far out of town. In town preferred. I tell you what, let's do a search without a price in it and see what we can find. Everything is 500 and above. Now we talk about drive until you find it, which is we need to go further outside of town, because the further you go out of town, the cheaper property is. Do you know why more people live in town, Abby? They want to. More people want to live in town than out of town. Otherwise, out of town would be more populated than town. Ta-da. The further you go out, the less expensive it is. Do you want to drive until you find it? Lower your expectations or wait for a shift in the market? Are we being pushy? Nope. There's reality. Yep. Most common traps: relying on their word about the lender. They have a lender who can't deliver. Having this discussion too early in the process before the foundational questions is a big mistake. Do those foundational questions. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your work. Tell me about this. Connect them to you and gain some trust as an advocate before saying, you want to talk to my lender? You sit down with somebody and say, are you pre-approved? No. Oh, you want to talk to my lender? No. Did you do anything real wrong? No, you just haven't built trust yet. MLS search, make sure you show matches under contract and available. Most common trap is realtors just show what's available and they miss the opportunity to show what properties are selling, what properties people value in. Showing property, have discussions about actives and solds. You'll see in the neighborhood and you'll have the information with you for those properties when you go. You're prepared. Most common trap, they don't have this discussion. They don't have active and sold information readily available. You have that sold information readily available, especially in this market. They see a property they love. Well, look, this proves that the value is this. So I think we're good to go. Let's write it up. Cool. Let's do it. Handling buyer objections. By following the 10-step buyer process, buyer objections are greatly reduced because buyers are more clear, less confused. Buyers are more confident, less fear. Buyers are more focused, fewer criteria and variables. Buyers are in a balanced brain decision-making mode, and they have the green light to move forward. We've got a list of some soft closes. Can you see yourself living in this home? Should we make sure we don't lose this one? Favorite after showing questions. This has some great things for you here. Good stuff. Now, let's move over and let's jump into our new buyer presentation. It looks an awful lot like the old one. However, I listen to people. And when my marketing director tells me, yeah, that's a good presentation, but you need to get rid of those stock photos. This used to have a stock photo, this very front page. I've gotten rid of stock photos. They're impersonal. They look like you downloaded them off the internet because you did. So they're gone. I was waiting for Malia to clap or stuff. What are you waiting for? I don't know, something amazing. A few questions will help us understand how to help you. You go through the buyer interview. That's your chance. That's when you have that out. Next, our initial paperwork. Why do I want to do that first? it gets it out of the way. It gets it out of the way. Here's a packet of information I have ready for. In that packet is our initial paperwork. It satisfies state required representation documents. It ensures you're ready to make an offer without having to fill out multiple documents at an already possible stressful time. And it provides necessary information so we can get that to everyone involved in the transaction. First, there's a form that says, I advised you to get a home inspection, and I do. Oh, well, good. I was going to ask about that. Second is Arkansas agency. It says that I won't disclose information about you that could harm you in your ability to negotiate. Oh, good, good. Third is a buyer's disclaimer. This is a warning. You have to be satisfied with your home before you close on it. If you find something after that that you don't like, don't sue me. We had our chance. Fourth is a quick info sheet. And then last is the buyer's representation agreement. We believe that you should be able to choose to work with anyone at any time, so you can terminate that agreement with no penalty or fee. Fair enough? Yeah, that's all real good. Great. Our goal is to help you find the right home and at the same time, make sure you don't miss out on anything or pay too much. It's a good goal. Does that sound good? You want a stock photo in that moment?
That's right.
Let's watch this. Maybe. Here we go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen in the Ninja Nation. It's Peter Parnay. I'm a Ninja and Selling instructor, and here we are at the Ninja Nation. We talk about all things Ninja all the time. Let's finish questions 6 through 10 in the buyer's process. Now, I want to reiterate how important it is to actually draw the funnel. A lot of people want to skip the drawing part because they think, well, it's too elementary. But even if you've got a PhD in nuclear physics and you've got an MD or a rocket scientist, there is something about showing is better than telling, so they can see that everything is there. So don't hesitate, even if you're not a very good funnel drawer, and I'm going to reiterate, practice funnel drawing because it really does matter. But now we're going to pick up at question number 6. When you finish the funnel, now you ask the great question, which is, so Mr. Buyer, buyers, whatever, who's sitting there, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is just beginning to look today and 10 is you're ready to buy today, where would you rate yourself in the process? And if you'll recall at that point, they're going to say maybe 6 or 7. You're going to ask the most important question now is, what would have to happen for you to be a 10? And this is a question, I wouldn't change one word in it. It's a little bit tricky because it can, if you modify it, you could come off as sort of a closing salesperson. So just make sure you ask, what would have to happen for you to be a 10? They'll say something like, I've got to find the right house. I've got to get a loan. I've got to sell my existing house. Take a lot of time here to make sure that you flesh this out. This is not a time to rush. This is a time to do a really great investigation so that you identify any potential problems that could come up while they're under contract. If you're a little bit uncomfortable with them and you just met them and you can't tell, maybe you'd ask, do you have your down payment in order? Are there any things in your credit that you need to take care of? It's okay to be a little bit prying here because we want to get this on the table at this point rather than after we found them the house. Question number 7, if you recall, is really the 2 pieces of paper exercise. I'm going to hand a piece of paper to both parties if there are 2 there. If there's 1, obviously just give it to 1. And then you're going to ask the great question was, do me a favor, make a list of everything you're really, really hoping to get in this house. And then if you could, make a star by those things that are most important to you, maybe the top 3. And if you recall in the installation, one of the things we described is often, if not most of the time, if you are dealing with a couple, their list is not aligned. That's just fine. But now you go through the whats and the whys. Remember, whats are people ask for, why is why they want them. In other words, if they say 4 bedrooms, they may not need 4 bedrooms, but what they really need is a bedroom and a guest room and 2 offices. So this is really the time to slow down and ask them pretty explicitly, when you say you need 4 bedrooms, how are you
Oh, come on, Peter.
Sucking paper.
Explicitly, when you say you need 4 bedrooms, how are you going to use those bedrooms? Do they have to be bedrooms, or could they be working spaces? If they say a 3-car garage, ask them, tell me, do you have 3 cars, or do you need storage? In other words, go through each one in great detail, because what you'll discover is often the criteria that you end up with is different than the starting criteria. And when you start your selection process / elimination process, when you're actually in the MLS, you'll have a much better chance of getting it right the first time. The other reason this is so important, it's why we have such great results in our system for only showing houses on the first or the second time out. So next week, we'll cover questions 8, 9, and 10, and then you'll have finished the buyer process and you'll be ready to go.
Okay, so let's look at this real quick here. I should have stopped that elsewhere. Hang on.
If you recall.
Okay, so we've got things they brought with them, the MLS, websites, new construction, for sale by owners, bank owned, and auto notifications when they come on the market. So again, making sure that you get all of those listed in there can be hard. Also, we've evolved a little bit since this was made, which wasn't made long ago at all, but Ninja has evolved to now say, if you watched the Larry Kindle video yesterday with Terry, Zillow and Trulia get their information from the MLS. Have you ever, and these are Larry's words in his presentation yesterday, have you ever called on a Zillow property to find out that it went under contract 4 months ago or sold 4 months ago? So let's go to the source that is more up to date. So he is getting rid of people's desire for Zillow and Trulia, and we can then tell them Smith & Associates, NWA.com, because it pulls the information directly and store it differently. These are information companies. These websites are information companies, not real estate companies. The MLS goes underneath now Zillow and Trulia and any other website you want to list there. The MLS would go underneath and discount the use of the others. Does that make sense? Okay. So how do you remember all of those when you're there? And some of you, I mean, and this isn't talking bad about anybody, it's the reality of it. Some of you want to have 3 closings a year and you're good with that. Some of you want to have 6 and you're good with that. Well, if you aren't practicing this all the time, what's going to prompt this to stay in your memory? Well, your presentation will. And this is going to get prettier. I can't figure out how to get a layout on that. So thank you. Matter of fact, why don't I just send you the whole presentation and let you fix it? So this says, let's draw a funnel. And it prompts you in front of your sellers to draw your funnel. And then it says, okay, so you've brought some homes that you're already considering, or maybe you have. And then we have Zillow, Trulia, and MLS. We have for sale by owners. We have Banco. We're not going to go down the list like that. We're going to talk about each one. Homes that you've already brought. Let me see them. Tell me what attracted you to those. Now, also, you've probably been looking on Zillow or Trulia. Yeah, I have. That's where I found those. Oh, great. Well, they get their information from the MLS directly. Have you ever called on a property that has been off market for 4 months or so and found out that it wasn't available anymore? Oh yeah, it really ticked me off. Yeah, well, they pull their information from the MLS. So let's just go use that as our source because they don't update the way the MLS does. And since they pull from that, we'll do that. Also, I've never met a for sale by owner that didn't want to work with me and wouldn't let me help them through the process. So if you see a for sale by owner property that you're interested in, let me know and I'll help you. Have the conversation up front. We have bank-owned properties. If any bank-owned properties become available, we want to know. New construction properties, we want to know about those. And auto notification, I'll set up a auto notification for you. You draw all that into the funnel, then you say, a lot of these are going to come out before they make it through the funnel. We're gonna eliminate those. And then we want to get your top dozen and your top 6 and then your top 3. You might look at those online, you might drive by those, and you might decide that you want to go inside. And that's our process. Sound good? Clarity question? Sound good? On a scale from 1 to 10, where are you today? 1 being just getting started, 10 being you would like to find a home today. This presentation is prompting you to do the Ninja 10 buyer process. It gives you the steps every bit of the way. Okay, I'll have each of you make a list of your wants and needs, and please put a star by your top 3. And then the 85% is there to remind you to talk to them about 85%. If you're getting a loan, would you like to visit with my preferred lender? A second opinion can be very valuable. Oh, we're not getting a loan, we're paying cash. Do you have a house to sell to get the cash, or is it liquid now? No, it's liquid now. It's a lot easier to say that than what kind of financing are you using? How does that work for you? No, we've already got a loan together on that. Well, a second opinion can be very valuable. Are you sure? Yeah, we're sure. Okay. You tried. Now, what we used to have here was a list of lenders, right? Did everybody here like my list of lenders and want to use the ones that I use? No. What's our fear? Steering. If you're getting a loan, would you like to visit with my preferred lender? Is that steering? Steering is, you need to talk to my lender if we're going to do this. My lender's the one to use. That's steering. Not giving options. I mean, saying, do you want to talk to my person? That's not steering. The right lender means you close on time. It helps. Then if they do, step out of the room, do your MLS search, come back, talk to them about the 1% rule. After you talk to them about the 1% rule, show them what you found on the MLS. If you found the perfect house, what would you do? That's the cream puff question, right? How's the market for what you're looking for? What can we expect? How many sales in the last 6 months in that area? How many listings are on the market? How long is it taking for those listings to close? What percentage of asking price are those listings receiving? Are you preparing your buyer to be ready for the market? What's a 150 selling at? 170? Often. Yeah, if it's ready to go. Is it getting financing or cash? Investors are swooping them up. Let's talk about those things. Let's look at that. What's a $1.5 million house doing? Sitting longer. Yeah. There's fewer of them, but they're sitting longer. Let's identify your magic wand offer. Let's identify what your magic wand offer would be. And we fill out their magic wand offer. We go over all the terms. Now they're completely educated about the contract. Are we providing value? Absolutely. Now that we know what you want, let us show you how we'll help you get it. 5 easy steps to buy your home. These are the same. Your financing, we've already talked about that. Have some fun. Look at houses. Here are the rules. A list of addresses will be provided for you in the order you will tour them in. Inside the home, you can open doors and cabinets. Feel free. Don't touch personal items. Stay together in the home. Those are the rules. During showings, I'll point out defects and special features to help you avoid pitfalls and recognize newer options in homes. What do people not want to do? Have regret, right? A fear. I want to regret. I'll point out defects I see. Then we negotiate your deal. At this time, I'll show you a detailed list of comparable homes that recently sold to help you make a clear and confident financial decision. You'll inspect the home. Would you like to use my preferred inspector? I still have the preferred list in the drive. If you want those, they're there. However, I realize that some of you use people that weren't on that list, and I don't want that to deter you from using our presentation. Same as the lender. Make sense? Cool. During the inspection, we'll have 10 days to request repairs. Cosmetic isn't normally included. Old but working items usually aren't included. Seller responds in 5 business days. We'll verify the repairs are done before closing and hook up your utilities before closing. Then we'll close. We'll be happy to take care of everything else. Ready to get started. Does that take you through the process the exact way Ninja wants it to be done? Is anybody happy about that besides me? Good. I am too. I am too. These two need to be studied together. The 10-step buyer process and the presentation. Please study those together. Do those together and practice those together with your partner in a mirror, recording yourself and listening to it, whatever it takes to become a pro. However, if you are one of the agents that are, I'm good if I sell one a year. I know because I've talked to you and felt that you were hireable here, that doesn't mean you don't have high integrity and want to do a good job. So I want to provide something like this that allows you to have enough guidance that you don't miss things. And I hope it helps. Any questions? No? Okay, Fayetteville, favorite thing for today.
I have a buyer meeting with some, this is actually pretty good.
Awesome. Awesome.
I like the fire process. I was actually looking for the questions the other day.
So if we go to the drive, the buyer meeting, buyer packet for buyer interview, right there. You've got the buyer packet list, you've got the buyer interview. Yeah, it's okay. That's all right. It's there. Magic wand offer, that list of preferred inspectors, if you'd rather provide that. List of preferred lenders is there. It's all there. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Anybody else?
I really like some of the verbiage. We talked about what the buyer's big fears are, and I think it just reinforces or takes away those fears, some of the language throughout the whole process. And I think they'll feel good.
Yeah.
At the end of it, and it will have answered most of the questions.
So Bill is saying, study that language because the way they say it matters. And I agree. A lot of what I put into the buyer meeting presentation is their verbiage that I took very direct and moved on to that because those were very important points. So that verbiage matters. Study that 10-point process. It helps. Anybody else?
I liked the golden rule versus the platinum rule.
Mm-hmm.
And then also seeing you having an accountability partner isn't just all picking on you. Have you done this today? But showing up with good things.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So I like that.
Judd's a good guy. He's a good guy. Yep. Anybody else? Bentonville, anything?
I like the whys, not the whats.
Fantastic point. Going once, going twice. It's time for tacos. All right.
Can you explain how you're in accountability and how everyone else would get an accountability partner?
Absolutely. Step one in the Ninja path, in my opinion, is to go to an installation. If you've been to an installation, great. Step two in continuing that path is to find someone here local that you do your Monday morning agenda with. And you review what you did last week, the Ninja activities you did, and you plan what you're going to do this week to either be better or stay on path. And if you do that, you may not need an accountability partner. However, the next step is a group called Mastery. And if you join a Mastery class, you'll have an accountability partner from a different market. The advantage to that is a little less shame. Because you'll be able to just tell them straight up what you're up to, and you don't have to see them in the hallway and them know that you're just here to drink coffee. So Mastery is after that, and then I would say the step after Mastery is individual coaching. And if you want to skip Mastery and go directly to individual coaching, that's fine too, but more expensive. So that's the Ninja path as I see it. Yep. Anything else? Okay, that's it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Bye, Thomas. I'm waving at you.